Welcome to Guns and Gear Network, everyone. I want to bring you this video today about, this is called the TMS stove, and it's actually TMS stove-2346 portable military camping tent steel wood stove is actually the description on Amazon. So I've had this for a couple years now, and quite a few people have reviewed this, and this is sort of a review, but I also want to show some improvements I've did, because this thing actually is a great stove. I was a little surprised actually how good the quality was for the money, but also it's got a few shortfalls, and some people mention it in the videos, and I just want to show you the fixes that I did, but I will give you the once over on the stove itself. And it's got a pretty tall chimney there and goes up to a spark arrestor. But I'm going to read you some descriptions here. This is a great stove you can use to cook your dinner, dry your gear, heat your shelter, or just warm your hands and feet in cold winter nights. Safer than an open fire. So this actually has some advantages if you're trying to be stealthy or you've got restrictions and it's pretty dry conditions. This is a way to be able to heat and cook and a lot of those things that you can't do with an open flame, or it's a lot more dangerous with an open flame. This, let me give you the dimensions. It's roughly 18 inches long, 10 1/4 inches wide, 11 inches tall, stands 26 1/2 inches with the leg extensions. So you could actually rig this up inside a tent potentially. If you know, again, use caution there, guys. You got to know what you're doing as far as being able to run that stove jack, fix a stove jack, and be able to fix that chimney out properly in a tin. And you got to look at some other issues, carbon monoxide issues and stuff like that. But just keep that in mind. This can be used as a tent stove. I bought this because I thought it was a neat way to have another source to cook. Now, you know, it may be fine for outdoor cooking as far as conditions. It's not too dry or too windy or anything, but I'm cooking multiple items at a time, and so I wanted just another source to be able to do that. So this in general, I'll show you a few things here, guys. I'm gonna take this, it's gonna get a little shaky here for a few minutes while I adjust my tripod. And all right, so let me show you a couple things right off. One thing you'll notice on this is this door hinge here, and it's pretty flimsy. And this is one of the complaints that I read when I was reading the reviews wanting to do this. And it's not bad as far as just keeping it on there. And let me show you something. It comes with these tools. It comes with two tools. One's kind of a poker type thing, and then this other one is to like scrape your ashes. But let's say, for instance, I was burning this today, and it's about 100 degrees out here today, so I'm not going to turn this on and fire it up. But let's say I was using this, and I would, if you didn't want to have your gloves on every time, you know, you could take this little tool here, lift it up, open your door, manage your fire. It also has this built-in grate, and then I would suggest also lining this with either some fire bricks and or sand. It'll keep from burning out the bottom as quick. So anyway, you got you open the door, you did what you needed to do, and then just push the door shut, and then take this little thing here. It's a little hard to do. Again, you may want to lift it up, come around here, and you could lock it even with just this little thing here, just like that. Now, it's still, see how it's got a gap right here? Well, what I did to fix that is I went and bought this barrel lock, and you can buy these at any standard hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, whatever. And I just use self-tapping screws, sheet metal screws, and then you just you're able to shut this very tight now. So now it is very tight, no gaps or anything. So that's one method you can use, is just one of these little cheap, I think this was $1, maybe $2 for this little barrel lock here. And you can just and I need to make an adjustment on this one. I just noticed earlier when I was setting the camera up and was working with it, I need to pull, because this is not real thin metal, but it's bent in just a little right there. And if I'll bend that out, this barrel lock will line up better and it'll be easier to use. So anyway, that's just one item that I did to upgrade. The other thing that you'll hear about is the paint. The paint on these things are terrible. As soon as you fire it up, it burns that paint off, stinks up the place. So what you'll need to do is, I bought a paint stripper. It's like an airplane stripper that comes in a spray can. It's foam. I sprayed this down, let it soak, sprayed it again until I got most of it all off, and then was able to repaint it with a very high temperature paint, and that's what I did with mine. You also have vents on the front door. Some people complained about these springs being weak. You know, mine seems to be okay, so I don't have any issues with mine. There's a vent here, there's a vent on the back here, and there's also a vent underneath. So one thing you'll notice on mine that you may not notice on some of the others, in the last few years, couple years maybe just a year ago, somebody came out with these little water pots, little kettle pots here. That is handy to have. This is stainless steel, and it's got a little spout over here that you can turn and get your hot water out. And this is handy to have to keep on all the time with water in it. I mean, it wouldn't really hurt it if it dried out as far as no water in it, but I would just keep watering it at all times. One thing I did, this thing it just comes with a little lid that lays loosely up here. It does not go on tight. So I rigged up this right here so I can get it, grab hold of it, and if you notice, that's how I did mine. Little eye hook, little chain, and I rigged it to the handle here so I can take this, set it off, and do what I need to do as far as adding water, and then just pick that up and set the lid back on like that. Part of the reason you do not want this lid to be super tight because it will create pressure in this because of the steam. But I didn't want to have to deal with taking this lid off. It doesn't even come with a handle, so I needed either a handle or a way to tether it so I wouldn't lose the lid, and this right here was a neat way to do that. So that's one other improvement that I wanted to share with you guys. Real cheap and easy. This just fastens like this on your chimney here, and the heat that's coming up through here and that's on the bottom of this stove is what heats your water. This has a flat cooking surface across here that allows you to set a pan or a pot or anything like that up here you want frying pan to cook with. Now some people, and even in the description, they talk about utilizing these holes here to cook things like potatoes. Yeah, some small potatoes maybe, or some foiled type items. Let's say an ear of corn. Now a small ear of corn or even a large ear of corn should fit in here. If you wanted to wrap those in foil and some butter and stick them in here, should be able to cook just fine. You can also hang your gear off of this, gloves or whatever. Just always be careful with that. You don't want to burn up your gear, even melting it or just causing some problems there. All right, so one other improvement I wanted to mention that I want to show you. If you look at these legs here, that's the extension legs. Well, they're just hollow pieces of steel tubing, if you will. And at the bottom, they when you set this down in the dirt and mud would always get inside of this. So what I did, I went to Lowe's and I found these little end pieces that go like on the end of, say, a cane or something like that. In that way, now when I set it down, it does not get dirt and mud and all that inside the leg. So that's another little cheap improvement. Like I said, I think I bought 4 of them for $1 or $2. And that's an easy, cheap improvement that this stove can have. Like I said, the barrel lock and are the 2 main ones that you need to worry about as far as improvements. Plus, when this thing is considered portable, the other reason I didn't like the door, everything comes apart, the entire stove, chimney there, and the legs and everything, and it fits inside of here. Well, this door, because of the nature of this handle here, the way it locks, just wouldn't stay locked a lot of times, and it would come open and your stuff would fall out. So with this method, with the barrel lock, I can at least now shut it to the point where it's really secure and it's not going to come open and the stuff fall out. So that's just another reason to have something similar to that with this little barrel lock here. But some people have complained about this spark arrestor up here getting clogged. I could see where that may be an issue. I'll show you something you can do. See if I can take this off real quick. Alright, so on your spark arrestor here, what some people have suggested, and I hadn't had a problem yet, but you could take this center piece out, which is like a little expanded metal grid or grate, take it completely out, and then wrap the outside, the entire outside, with a screen material. Make sure it's obviously a metal screen material, and then maybe put like some kind of clamping here to hold it in place. The main thing is here is just, it's called a spark arrestor for a reason, so that way you're not going to have sparks that fly up, get a little hot spark on some dry tinder or leaves or anything like that. And then plus, if you're running it in a stove inside a tent, you will definitely need some type of spark arrestor so those sparks wouldn't come up and then fall onto your tent and burn a hole in it. So, but anyway, guys, as of today, these things vary in price. Been out for a few years. I looked around for you guys on eBay and Amazon and some other places, and the cheapest I found it today for this entire setup, which includes the stove, the water kettle, and it also includes a bag. When I bought mine, it did not come with a bag, so this is a bonus item, I guess you will. It comes with a bag to house everything for $89.95, including shipping on eBay. So that's $90 on eBay. Again, you need to look around Amazon, eBay, on the internet in general. I'm gonna set this tripod back up here, guys, but just to see who's got the best price at the time. But currently, the best price I could find was on eBay for $89.95 for everything you see there, including a storage bag for everything that I do not have. And I think it's a real neat stove to have on hand. Obviously, you're not going to backpack this, but car camping, setting up a base camp, something like this would come in handy to be able to do some cooking, keep warm, and that sort of thing. If you have any questions, post those below. If you have experience with this specific stove or have other suggestions, please post those. We'd like to get you involved in the discussion. If you've got another suggestion of a different type stove, there's some other ones out there that are much nicer than this one, but they're also more expensive. There's some that are custom made out of the United States. This is one's made in China, so you know the cost is pretty cheap. And but like I said, I think they're worth the effort. There may be a little bit of struggle in the beginning. I think one of the reviewers had problems putting the legs in, and what happened was a piece of slag or welding had fell into that hole, and he couldn't get the leg in. So all he did was take a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and pop that little piece of slag off the inside there where it had a piece of weld had fell back in there and stuck. So like I said, there's some little issues, but do I think it's worth it? Yes. I think with a little bit of effort, you can make these into some really great little stoves. I can promise you, you couldn't build this for $90, or I wouldn't want to try to build it for $90. Like I said, it's just I don't see that it's going to be cost effective to do that. But anyway, if you would like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be bringing you another video in the near future. Thank you very much, guys, and appreciate you tuning in.